Good morning, dear student. So today we learn about the generation of computer. Yes. So in the previous class, you read about the evolution of computer and types of computer, etc. So yes, so that topic related to the previous class. But now your chapter first generation of computer. Yes. So generation of computers. So you know what is generations, student? So you do know that as we human have different generation. Yes. So the computer also have different generation. So what is generation? So generation refers to the state of improvement in product development process. Okay. So similarly we can say that generation of computer refers to the state of improvement. So in computer technology. Yes. So the computer in the past were not just like computer. Yes. So yes, what today they are. So the computers earlier were having very less features, and day by day the technology has developed. So and new features were added and the computer become smaller and faster. Yes, student, you know what the cycle of development computer. So look, first ENIAC, ENIAC computer, then PC, personal computer, okay, and then your desktop computer, desktop computer, and then your desktop developed into laptop, and then tablet, and then mobile. Look, this is cycle of development, student. Okay. So this cycle are development of computer in the span of time. Okay. So you know that the computer has got smaller and more advanced than the previous generation. Yes. In the first generation and second generation and third generation, fourth generation and fifth generation. Yes, student, you know how many type generation? Yes. So the computer are classified into 5 generation. Okay. So let's study about the each generation individually. Individually means that separate. So I will take the first generation. So I am talking about the first generation. So what is the period? The 1946 to 1958. Okay, student? Yes. So this is a first generation and period that 1946 to 1958. So the first generation computers period starts from 1946 with ENIAC computer and UNIAC computer. So you know ENIAC and UNIVAC and ITSAC and IDVAC. IDVAC and ITSAC, Mark 1 and IBM 360. Okay, so here are many example and many computer for the first generation. Yes, student. So that what's the full form of ENIAC? So ENIAC, electronic numerical integrator and computer. Okay, so student, electronic numerical integrator and computer. Okay, and then UNIVAC, universal automatic computer. Universal automatic computer. Okay, student, and then after IDVAC. So IDVAC, electronic discrete variable. Electronic discrete variable automatic computer. Automatic computer. Okay, student, and then electronic, it's a electronic delayed and electronic delayed storage and automatic computer. Electronic delayed storage, automatic computer. And you know what the full form of IBM? International that business machine. Okay, student? Yes. So these are computer of first generation. ENIAC, electronic numerical integrator and computer. Then UNIVAC, universal automatic computer. IDVAC, electronic is discrete variable automatic computer. And ITSAC, electronic delayed storage automatic computer. And IBM 60 Mark 1 and Mark 2 also. Mark 2. Okay, Mark 1 and Mark 2 is an example of first generation computer. Clear, student? Yes. So please note that and learn it. And student, you know, how much processing for the calculation is very low. Yes. So that's language unit first generation. So language using machine language, use the machine language in first generation, and that first generation computer used vacuum tube, most important, vacuum tubes. Okay, this equipment used in first generation. So you know that they were very large in size and produced a large amount of heat, and they had to be cooled down by air conditioner. Okay, yes. So the operating speed was very slow and they were not reliable. Okay, student? Yes. So this is a drawback of the first generation computer. So three main things related to the first generation. First, how which computer developed in first generation. So ENIAC, ITSAC, IDVAC, Mark 1 and Mark 2 and IBM 650. And which language used in first generation? So machine language used in first generation. And which equipment used? So vacuum tube used in first generation. Very good. And then after became second generation. So second generation period 1959, okay, to 1964. Okay, student. So yes, and what is the feature of first generation? So you know that this is a size is too large and not reliable and produce lot of heat. Okay, so some limitation and drawback. The more advanced computer developed, which were second generation computer. Yes, so the second generation computer were introduced in the late 1950s. So which replaced vacuum tube with transistor. Yeah. So the which electronic component used in the second generation replaced to the vacuum tube. So vacuum tube used in the first generation. So here use the transistor. Okay, student, here use transistor. Replace the vacuum tube, and the language used in the second generation computer was assembly language. Then assembly language. Okay, student. So I hope that you know about the language. Okay, so you read how many type? Two type. First, used in the first generation machine language, and here second generation use the assembly language. Yes, so machine language and assembly language. Yes, so this is a electronic equipment component, and this is a language. So assembly language used in first generation, and the second generation computer also produced a large amount of heat also, and they too had to be cooled down by air conditioner. Same condition with the second generation. Yes, and same condition with the first generation also. Yes, so they were smaller, faster, and more efficient than the first generation. This is smaller. This is smaller and faster, and that more efficient. Yes, more efficient comparison than the first generation. Yes, so then the operating speed was comparatively high, and example of for second generation IBM 140, and Leo and Mark third, etc. Here are many. Okay, student? Yes. So the electronic component, a transistor, and language, assembly language is that, and this is smaller, faster, and more efficient comparison the first generation, and the operating system was comparatively high, and the example IBM 140, Leo, and Mark third or 3, etc. is the example computer of the second generation. You know that what the feature of second generation? What is the feature? So electronic component use the transistor, and size became smaller than first generation. Yes. So an operating system became higher, and cost became low, and language used assembly language. So this is a feature of second generation. Okay, we can say that limitation of second generation computer, so produce heat, and speed was still low, and memory was less. So okay, student, and then after we will talk about the feature of second generation. Okay, so what is the feature of second generation? According by the component, electronic component used, size, what is size, and which operating system, speed, and then cost, and language used. So electronic component used in second generation, transistor, yes, and size became smaller than the first generation, became smaller. Okay, student, so that's electronic component used transistor, and size became smaller than the first generation. Have some problem. First generation, and operating system that became higher. Oh no, sorry. So became higher and cost became low and language used assembly language. So in the next class we will cover about the third generation, fourth generation and fifth generation and other some topic, okay, related to the generation of computer. So please read the all topic at your home, okay student. Thank you so much. So stay home and stay alive.